Hey, what's up? I'm Spider Prime 1.
And I am the law.
I knew you'd say that. It's Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd, couldn't tell. 95 version, not to be confused with the new one.
Well, the new one's just called Dredd.
Oh. Alright.
Or if you saw it in theaters, Dredd 3D. And the 3D was so awesome. But that's not this review.
Right, we are doing the 95 Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah. You have to do the lip thing when you do Sylvester.
I never noticed the right side of his lip as always like that.
Yeah, it always looked like that. It still looks like that.
I never noticed it through the whole movie. I guess I'm just naive like that. I thought this whole movie was awesome, so that shows how naive I am.
I liked it too. We literally watched this movie like 3 hours ago. I had only seen the Nostalgia Critic review of it, and if I pull jokes from the Nostalgia Critic review in this, don't be mad. It's nothing but respect.
Full respect.
Just that disclaimer right there. But anyways, it was also my first time seeing the movie entirely. I gotta say, I like it a little bit more now. The new one is still superior.
Yes,
but
you say that.
But
I'll find out eventually.
Yeah, you'll find out eventually. And when he finds out, we will talk about that one too.
That's a later day.
But no, I actually really like this movie. It is a guilty pleasure beyond a doubt, but pleasurable though guilty.
Now, while I like it, I do have to remember that I commented earlier that the beginning of this makes me feel like I'm watching a Star Wars ripoff.
Oh, the whole movie was pretty much a Star Wars ripoff.
Especially the whole entrance to the city scene.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm on Coruscant.
And then, well, and even though Coruscant hadn't been invented yet,
I guess we know where they pulled from.
Yeah. Watch the credits. There may be George Lucas's name in there somewhere. But no, there were a lot of different spots in that movie that felt like a Star Wars ripoff. Like in the chase during the end.
Oh, on the motorcycles.
When they are on the motorcycles, and it's Dredd and Schneider and one of the other guys. They go into this like brightly lit tunnel. It looks exactly like the scene of the Falcon and the X-wing going into the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi.
Right.
And it does the camera pull to where you're in the middle of the tunnel. It does the exact same shot. I'm like, okay,
it's a good effect.
It's a great effect if you've never seen Star Wars.
Now, with Dredd, I would have to say that there's one scene near the very end of the movie that basically sums up everything he's about. You betrayed the law. No. And that's about all you need to know about Dredd.
That's about it.
He is.
And near the end of the movie, when we'll get to go into the blow by blow in a minute, but yeah, near the end of the movie, it just becomes the dueling accents.
The duel of the accents.
Okay, so how does this movie start out?
Where Rob Schneider, whatever his real name is, I'm just calling him Rob, gets pulled into the big city, Mega City 1. Mega City 1. Got it right. Of a prisoner transport. He's been in prison for 6 months, and so he's finally let go. And this taxi is just giving him a precaution, that there's a riot going down in the district they're dropping him off.
No, it's the district that he's assigned to. He gets assigned to one of the most abusive blocks there is.
And it just goes, be careful, there is a riot going down.
It boots him out.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day, and then it leaves. And literally, the streets are just covered in people beating the crap out of each other.
Just riots all over the place, and he's just looking around like, alright, I'm gonna go to my room.
And so he goes to his room, finds that the door is open, creaks it open just a little bit, sticks his head in, gun to his head, immediately.
And this is the first time we actually hear him talk, have a conversation. And this is where he starts rolling his eyes.
Because, are you a judge spy, little man?
What? Me? I'm no spy. And that's
pretty much what he sounds like through the entire movie.
I can see where Rob Schneider was going, and I haven't seen him in the 90 movies very often.
And you know what? I actually like Rob Schneider a little bit. One of my favorite movies that he's in, Benchwarmers.
Benchwarmers. Love them.
I love that movie too. He was good in that movie, along with John Heder and David Spade.
Didn't know he could be like that.
Oh, gosh, that was... his performance was horrible to sit through. Thankfully, he gets arrested again in the beginning of the movie, and you don't see him until about the hour mark.
It's a long way through.
Yeah, so for a good third of the movie, you don't get to see him.
But so in this beginning scene, the riots are going down, and we got two of the judge officers huddled down from taking fire, and then third motorcycle rolls up. Big, triumphant man, Stallone, stands up, little microphone pops up. I am the law. I couldn't really hear what else he said after that, but he said something about having them arrested.
Oh, he said, throw down all your weapons. These blocks are under arrest.
Oh, okay. I couldn't understand everything but under arrest.
Well, that's because it's Stallone shouting in the middle of a firefight.
You gotta love him.
He gets better as time progressed. But, so, Judge Dredd, Judge Hershey, and Judge, who only had 2 days left till retirement.
Oh, yeah.
All storm one of the buildings, and Dredd takes out one room full of bad guys, says a corny line, I don't even remember what the line was now. This room has been pacified. After he just brutally shoots down everybody who's in there.
I enjoyed all those lines, by the way. I'm a naive sucker like that.
Well, we're both from the 90s, so we're used to it. And then they hear a commotion in the next room, and Rookie, with 2 days left, decides, I'm going to go take it on. Rookie, wait! Kicks in the door.
You're under arrest.
We don't think so. And that makes Stallone mad.
And in his heroic angst, he murders all 6 of them with...
All but one. Well, no, all but one. All but one guy.
Each of them with unique button modes for his gun.
Well, we have rapid fire.
Armor piercing.
Double whammy. Where a second little...
shoots 2 bullets at once.
It shoots 2 bullets at once from a vertical gun, but they shoot off this way.
It's both of them in the chest.
It's both of them in the chest.
And then he only used those 3.
Yeah, he only used those 3, but you see more later on in the movie. And so he confronts the leader of the gang, because he just so happened to leave him left. He's like, he starts reading him his rights. You did this was 5 years. You did this, that was 5 years.
This is 20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years. I'm sorry, I gotta steal that joke from the Nostalgia Critic, because that one was actually really funny, because when I watched it, that's all I could think of, was 20 years.
And then, gets ready to,
and he turns, and the brutal murder of a street judge.
Let me guess, life?
Death.
And then he arrests a food droid.
Oh yeah, which Rob Schneider is hiding in, because during the firefight he escaped the room, but instead of just running away, he decided to hide into a food droid. And
I thought that was entirely in Dredd's character to just for no reason just arrest this food droid. I think it was unlawful.
Well, and if you paid attention, you could hear the food droid's voice in the beginning talking about eating recycled food.
Yeah.
And then when Schneider's inside the droid, it sounds like Schneider's voice.
Mm.
So I guess there's just a microphone and a little guy sitting in there. And Schneider just booted the little guy out of the robot and took his place.
So Dredd pulls him out, re-arrests this man who just got out of prison for another 5 years.
Haven't even been out for 24 hours, and yet you're already a perpetrator. Arrested. Wait, what? And they talk about the fact of, well, it was a something circumstance that, like, he did it because he had to.
Yeah.
We should have gone out the window. It's a 40-foot drop or a 40-story drop.
It was legal.
Yeah, but it was legal.
It would have been legal.
It's suicide. It would have been legal.
And then after that...
I'm sorry, I'm going to call bullcrap on that law book for that part.
I'm sorry, there's nothing in law that says you cannot kill yourself. After killing yourself, what can the law...
You can't kill other people, but you can kill yourself.
Your life is your life. Now then, we skip to the academy where the head of the law... The main...
I guess they're judges too, because they call them judges.
Yeah.
But they're like the supreme judge.
The councilman or whatever.
Yeah, the council. And,
after hearing about
Judge Fargo.
Is that his actual name?
That was his name in the movie.
Okay.
But the actor who played him was in the movie called Fargo, so therefore
have to carry
it's
over.
funny.
Okay.
Apparently. Or it's just, hey, he was in Fargo. Oh, good, you recognized him, because we're naming him Judge Fargo.
And he talks to Stallone about his executions. And
if they were necessary.
Yeah.
Unavoidable.
Sends him to the academy 2 days a week for
weapons training or unarmed combat.
Ethics. And I didn't know that you could teach ethics to a robot.
I'm glad you understand that Sylvester Stallone's a robot.
And I've known that since Rocky movies.
And that was completely scripted.
I had to jot some of these down.
But we actually did say that through the movie, and it just flowed so perfectly. We had to say it here. So yes, shame. But after that, you see Dredd teaching a bunch of cadets how to fire the gun, all the different modes for the gun, like signal flare.
This armor will be yours when you graduate.
The armor and the helmet will be yours when you graduate. This weapon will be yours if you graduate. And this experimental bike that we have just installed hover abilities to will be yours.
If you can get it to work.
No, if we can get it to work.
If we can get it to work.
Because the cadets aren't the one working on it.
Yeah.
Which I think it's funny. It doesn't work at all throughout the entire movie.
And yet there's like 5 of them at the end.
Well, and in the end of the movie, him and Schneider get on it. He beats the crap out of the control console on it. Automatically, that fixes everything.
Well, that's how I fixed my N64.
It works. And then immediately, as they're getting away, 5 more bikes that have this hover capability just follow him out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you couldn't get this to work. So that would mean that the one that he just beat the crap out of is the only one that works.
Hey, if it fits the plot.
Plot demands it.
If it makes the action scene that much better.
Yeah, I guess.
I see all the rest of the judges have the low budget because they're just puddling around on them.
Yeah, they have wheels.
But so then we go on to
so back at the beginning of the movie, after he talks to, or as he's talking to the cadets, he informs us of the long walk.
The long walk, where every senior judge eventually goes after serving his life for the law. He then leaves the megacity to the cursed earth to fight to bring law to the lawless until he dies.
So in layman's terms, that means if you can survive being a judge until you get to old age, your retirement plan is we boot you out of Mega City 1 into the desert wasteland that is the middle of the northern Midwest. The northern Midwest of America. And we give you the law book for Mega City 1. So if you manage to go to one of the other cities, I don't think the law's going to be the same. And we hand you a rifle. And you only have 1 clip.
Honestly, it's a cool way to go, but it's a really messed up way to send off your senior officers.
Not so much of a retirement plan that I would want to be a part of.
Nostalgia Critic, again, said not much of a 401k job.
Well, no, he said that he thought the people who didn't have 401k had it bad.
Oh, man.
It was the jab at Obama's health care.
I thought the health care was good.
So anyways, we find out later that one of the higher-up judges is in league with a prisoner in the Aspen Penal Colony, which is just a giant prison, named Rico. Rico is a genetic clone and is also Judge Dredd's brother.
Who you later find out is also a clone.
Well, he's not. They're not clones.
They're both genetically
created to be super judges. Judge Dredd apparently turned out fine. Rico
was the best criminal ever.
Just became the best criminal instead of the best judge. Oops.
Oops.
And so the corrupt guy comes in. Oh no, this wasn't the judge. This was someone else who was corrupt. He comes in and hands Rico a package. Rico opens it. It's got a judge badge that says Rico on it. He pulls it out. It's got a picture of a reporter who's been reporting on the judges and their tyranny. And then he's still holding the box. And the guy who gives it to him is like, "What's that?" It's a gun. Boom! Shoots the guy through the throat, which for some reason doesn't immediately kill him. And he tries to tell the automated turrets to fire on Rico. And the turrets go, "We can't understand you. Stay where you are or we will fire." "I'm gonna run away!"
Blam, gun down.
And he gets gunned down. Oops. And so, upon hearing all the gunfire, the two stationary guards who are outside come...
Stormtroopers.
Yeah, the stormtroopers, because they're just as inept. They come inside to see what's wrong. Rico's hiding under the walkway, and then just comes up, knocks one down, steals his gun, and then shoots them both.
Somehow the automated guns don't shoot Rico. That's
well, since he was programmed to be a judge, I guess therefore the guns listen to him.
But
there's a lot of inconsistencies in this movie.
There's a lot of them. It goes on to where even the furnace scene.
Oh,
it goes
God.
to the furnace is another inconsistency.
We'll just jump ahead through the movie.
We're just jumping.
Because...
So Stallone and...
Well, let's get to why they're out of the city.
I'm going to say...
Okay. Go ahead. Oh, it's Rob Schneider?
Yeah. So Stallone and Rob Schneider end up being on the same transport ship. Stallone gets arrested for murder of the reporter.
Which was Rico. He just dressed up as Judge Dredd, and since they both had the same DNA, and the bullets are encoded with the DNA of the firer.
So, he gets arrested for the murder, and he just so happens to be on the same transport ship as Rob Schneider.
So yeah, I guess they just had him in a holding cell for a month.
For a few days, week, month. And so they get shot down by a bunch of raiders, they escape, and they make it back to the city. And the only way in is through this furnace vent that pops out flame every twice a minute.
Twice a minute.
So 30 seconds.
So they have 30 seconds to run through.
They're sitting there on the side talking about it before they run in. 30 seconds to pop by, shoots out flame. And it's shooting out past them. And then as they run in, Rob Schneider trips.
And of course he can't get himself up.
No, of course not.
He has to get Dredd to cut Judge Dredd to come back, pick him up, and then run.
Meanwhile,
as the fire, which should be coming at them, is now coming behind them.
And starting to go very slowly.
Very slowly, so that he has time to pick him up and drag him through the vent. Oh, inconsistencies.
Oh, they narrowly escape, of course.
They shoot a hole through the grate, just where there so happens to be a tunnel, and then slide through and get back into the mega city. And then after that, Dredd finds Rico.
After he murders the entire rest of the council.
Yeah. There's a whole subplot of the corrupt council member gets the other council members to unlock the codes for this project,
the clone project,
that created Rico and Dredd. So he gets them to unlock it, calls Rico in, Rico kills the other three members, and then Rico and the corrupt guy go back to the headquarters / lab, which is inside the head of the Statue of Liberty.
The newly moved Statue of Liberty is now in the middle of this giant city, and it's a science lab.
Because. And,
that's a nice little touch.
Very nice. And so, the corrupt judge, after finding out that Rico, instead of using the DNA of all the best people, uses his own DNA, which is already corrupted.
So he has his own.
So they would all be just imperfect clones of Rico. He's like, "No, we shouldn't do this. I'm going to pull a gun out and point at you while standing in front of your giant robot bodyguard."
Who proceeds to
pick him up.
Dismember him.
Well, it knocks the gun out of his hands and picks him up by both arms. Robot, tear off his arms and legs, and then his head.
Scene transition as you hear him scream.
Yeah, arm pull, scene transition. And so, Schneider and Dredd go and find Judge Hershey to help them find out where Rico is. Because she knows. They run in, she gets captured.
By the big robot. Holding her up at her head.
Which between the three of us... Dumb! And so, Rico and Dredd have a battle of the accents.
No!
And then they get into a fist fight.
Meanwhile,
Schneider has
managed to work onto the back.
He's like just basically pulling wires out of the back of the robot.
The robot walks into the room.
While still holding Hershey, by the way.
Dragging her around
while he's pulling the wires out of its back.
He then lets her go.
And
proceeds to donkey punch Rico.
And then backhand the Asian assistant.
Best moment of the movie right there was just donkey punch.
Donkey punch. And then, what's wrong with the robot? I'm on Windows Vista.
Stealing those jokes.
Because they're so great.
And so they have their fight, and which ends up blowing up the entire facility. Just by because it's an action movie. And so Dredd and Rico have a fight on the there's like a crater taken out of the Statue of Liberty's head so that you can see them from the outside. Dredd is hanging off the edge of the Statue of Liberty, and because he judged Rico, and that's why Rico was in prison, Rico now grabs a gun and decides to judge Dredd. Name drop right there.
And so that whole scene goes, and then he throws Rico off the side.
Like you do to every brother.
Like you do to every brother.
I would do it.
And then the hot Asian assistant is in the exact same position with a bigger gun.
And I was expecting the exact same pull and punch.
But no, Hershey shoots her from behind and she falls. I don't think she fell out, but she still falls. And then Hershey pulls Dredd up. And then and then they walk outside. All the judges are there waiting for them.
And as opposed to a dark, rainy night, it's bright, sunny afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon, not morning. Afternoon.
Either it took them a long time to get down there, or there's a little bit of inconsistencies right here.
Hershey, I think I'm going to take a power nap. I'll see you in a minute. And then they want to make Dredd the Chief Justice, since all the other council members are now dead.
There's only one problem.
I'm a street judge. That's the only explanation I'm going to give.
And I'm
late. Just a street judge.
And I'm late.
Yes, and I have a job and I'm late. And so he immediately is given his shirt, puts his shirt on, goes over to a bike, which has all of his armor and helmet with his badge. It's not just random armor. It's his armor with the badge on it.
Well, of course, they had to get it ready for him.
And he puts it on, and then before he can put his helmet on, Hershey just out of nowhere kisses him. Because puts on his helmet and then drives off into the distance at the edge of a road. And then just sits there. End of movie. So yeah, while it sounds like we made that movie sound horrible,
I am very bad with my literature.
Well, and we jumped over a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much the entire wasteland scene.
I'm surprised though that we managed to make this movie.
I know, that was one thing that threw me off guard. But anyways, so we liked it.
And being a sucker for those 90 action movies, I thought it was really good. I loved all these little... I knew you would say that. I knew you would say that. I had to smile every time. The best part was when Hershey in the beginning of the movie asked, like, wouldn't it be great if you could like feel an emotion once in a while? Emotions. There should be a law against them. I knew you'd say that. I'm like, the movie is pointing out how bad these catchphrases are. I like them. I just thought it was funny. You were slamming them all movie. I was slamming them all movie, but I was having fun. I was slamming them all movie. And you know it's a good movie when you can slam it, but have fun while slamming it. I honestly can't. I'd like to see the next Dredd. That'll have to wait. At setting up, it's like a good... I love this movie. How is this one going to hold up?
Well, we will find out at a later date. I'm
Alright.
Spider Prime 1.
And I am the law!
I still knew you'd say that.